Myers, and he's pretty sure.
I'm in the other camp. I like the guy on the left.
That would be Beaux Bruggman with Esper Control.
So David Myers is on the die roll, going first, leading off on Rootbound Crag. And starting his game plan, ramp on 2. Ramping, we talked a little bit before about ramping really quickly, 2-4-6ing people, going to 2, then to 4, then to a 6 drop. In this matchup, it is a little, not as much of a primary goal of the deck as Esper usually can deal with those draws. David Myers is hoping to get a hand full of lots of threats, and hopefully threats that Beaux has the wrong answers to.
Worth noting, there are only 4 counter spells of any kind in Bruggman's main deck, 4 mana leak.
Yep, he has 4, so a lot of times he's going to be relying on using kill spells as pseudo counter spells, which if David Myers is playing a Primeval Titan will serve just fine for him. He has a full 4 Inkmoth Nexus and 2 Kessig Wolf Run, so any Titan that resolves, even when killed right away, will be great news for David. We see he comes out with another Rampant Growth, it looks like. Yes, another Rampant Growth. But no land drop, I believe?
Wow, not what you want to see.
No, Rampant Growth, so he's stuck on 4, having Rampant Growth for his 4th land. Beau's deck, actually, for an Esper control deck, has a fair number of finishers. In the main, he's running 2 Consecrated Sphinxes, 2 Gideon Juras, and 2 Sorens. So all of the, with 6, and a Batterskull. So he has 7 legitimate finishers in the game, in his deck.
What is this? Is this number 3?
3rd Rampant Growth. Beaux also misses his 4th land. No, Beaux makes his land drop. My apologies. Yep.
And there's the land that David didn't have the previous turn. We see a Think Twice from Beaux. Andrew Cuneo and I were talking about Think Twice. We're on very much opposite sides of the fence on this. I think Think Twice's days are over, and Andrew thinks they're required for a control deck.
Well, Think Twice depends on, I suppose, on the nature of how important instant speed is to you. Divination will do what Think Twice does for quite a
That's my contention. We have here a Huntmaster.
First attempt at making a threat. If Beaux has the counter spell, it's quite possible he'll just let it resolve and then kill spell it, hoping to save his counter spells for something like a Primeval Titan. By doing that, he does run the risk, though, that if once David gets to 9 mana, then those counter spells aren't really counter spells anymore. And he's going to go for its throat.
And Beaux draws.
It's also worth noting that David does not play any Beast Withins in his deck, so if Beaux managed to make it to a Consecrated Sphinx or a similar threat, the threat will probably just stay on the table. So
Consecrated Sphinx on the table is one of the most monstrous things to face down.
Yes. And
Liliana of the Veil.
Liliana's going to get the other wolf token.
Now I was talking about...
no, actually, it was a discard.
Wow. I was talking about this with... I guess that would be...
Liliana goes down to 2.
My partner Ari in Memphis, and we both don't like Liliana of the Veil in decks like this.
So why is that?
Essentially, if you're a control deck, you're not actually forcing a opponent into a bad attack against you. It's worth their while to attack you regardless. And when you're actually using the discard ability, you're hurting yourself too. You're still a control deck. We see another Huntmaster of the Faust from David Myers.
And the Day of Judgment, best answer in that situation. And still leaving 2 mana up to hopefully keep any Titans out of.
He's kept this 2 mana up the whole game. Even if he doesn't have the mana leak, he's communicating, hey David, I've got a mana leak.
And looking at that, he does indeed have the mana leak, but he could just as easily not have it, and we'd all be sold that he did.
Yeah, without a reanimation engine.
Oh, and there's the Sphinx. With
Ouch.
with Beaux being at 20, he's got to be pretty happy to have a Sphinx right now.
This could be a... and we're going to see David come back with a Primeval Titan. There's the Primeval Titan. So we've got the Battle of the Titans. Consecrated Sphinx, one of the only creatures in the world of Titans that actually seems to match up on some level.
Yes, and non-coincidentally, it is another mythic rare. So...
I picked up 5 or 6 of those like in the first week that card was released on Magic Online.
Yeah, that was one of the best secrets of when people who were testing for Pro Tour Nagoya. I remember walking to standard players and being like, "This card's really good. This card's really good."
Yeah, that was what our testing was for that Pro Tour. I was like, "Oh my god."
So Beaux, if he can manage to deal with this Primeval Titan right now, that takes care of the Ink Moth.
Curse is good. Curse does take care of Ink Moth.
There's no answers in the main.
And now it shouldn't be very difficult for him to find
and a Doomblade.
Something. There's the Doomblade.
That really...
He could be in complete control right now. Does he remember to draw 2 cards? Does he remember? Oh, he remembers.
He does.
Remember, that is optional.
David Myers is looking in, is really, his Consecrated Sphinx will be running away with this game very quickly if he can't do anything about it. So David with no shortage of threats to tap out for, but Sphinx will continue to draw, as long as Sphinx continues to draw answers.
One of the things to remember, David Myers dropped this Consecrated Sphinx on 7 mana with only 1 mana up, and he did it without fear. You might not necessarily do this in some matchups, but not only is this a matchup where it's not so scary, he has David Myers' deck list. They both were able to look at each other's decks. They know exactly the contents of each other's decks. There are no surprises for either of these players.
No, this Consecrated Sphinx will stay alive for the entire game. So I think he saw himself at 20 life, saw his opening, said, if I can draw 3 cards a turn for the rest of the game, I really don't think I can lose it. And he tries to pass. David Myers tries to flip his Huntmaster of the Fells, but a Think Twice on the end step stops that from happening.
A single draw. In comes the Sphinx.
Despite the life totals being high, you have to think that Beau's in pretty solid command of this game.
Beaux is he's in the driver's seat in such a way, it's just incredible.
3 mana and
cast the Think Twice just to keep that guy from flipping.
Yep. So Curse of Death's Hold, despite despite David Myers' deck, in the main deck not having only 1 Birds of Paradise as an X1, is probably one of those cards that Beaux continues to keep in for its ability to really answer all the Ink Moth Nexi.
I mean, the only thing that makes a Primeval Titan particularly scary for Beaux is the fact that the Ink Moth are still around afterwards. He's got a lot of point removal to be able to take care of a single Primeval Titan. It's the Ink Moths that are the problem.
Right. So as he slowly chips away his life total, Beaux now on a full grip of 7 cards. Probably building up to Sorin, and maybe we'll steal the Huntmaster at some point. And still not letting that Huntmaster flip.
We have a small earthquake here. Oh, just a tremor.
Galvanic
Galvanic Blast for control of the Sorin.
Yeah.
Given that I know exactly what's in my opponent's deck, the only thing I'd be doing right here at this point is just checking to make sure that my opponent wasn't going to mess it up so terribly that, you know, basically that it isn't worth scooping.
Yeah. He's going to Wolf Run this token for enough damage to kill the Sorin. And as it's an X1 due to Curse of Death's Hold, they now trade.
And we have a Snapcaster. And what's he going to do? Is he going to... Boom, there it is.
Yep,
Death.
The Doomblade.
And David Myers twirling around his sleeved card, knowing how terrible it is for him right now.
Do we know what the card is? I can't think of one that really helps here, but...
In for 8. Only 1 more attack from Beaux will end David Myers' game 1. And then they'll go to the sideboard, where I think that David Myers is going to bring in some good cards.
David Myers looks like he has a lot of game going on in his sideboard.
Autumn's Veil, Karn Liberated, Garruk Primal Hunter.
Yeah, especially the Garruk Primal Hunter and both Autumn's Veil look to be excellent cards in this matchup.
I would claim that Karn Liberated is an excellent card.
Karn Liberated is also pretty good. It's a lot of mana, but it's another it's a must counter spell in the way that Primeval Titan is not.
It's one of the cards that you can lay it, and if it resolves, if they lay a Sphinx on the next turn, you actually don't care if they get the cards. You still just take them over.
Now on the other side, Beaux has 1 Karn of his own. He has still no more counter spells, but what's interesting is he also has a Volition Reigns, which he will likely side in. So I expect to see a Volition Reigns, a Karn Liberated out of him, and maybe a Disperse, but that's probably it.
Acidic Slime.
Acidic Slime to get the Curse of Death Sold. Okay, he's going to try to sneak in and poison him for 10. Now, I would say, presuming he has enough mana to actually go straight 10 poison, first at Gideon, then at Beaux, but that's really assuming that Beaux doesn't have a removal spell for the Ink Moth, which, after this many turns of Consecrated Sphinx, is really unlikely. Alright, Beaux.
Lots of mana. 7 mana, flashback.
Flashing back, Forbidden Alchemy. Do you think he's possible he doesn't have a kill spell for the Ink Moth? That's a Snapcaster, I believe he kept.
As long as he has the Doomblade in the yard to be able to take care of it.
He already used that one to kill the Huntmaster. But I mean, it's still so unlikely that he doesn't have a kill spell. And he gets 2 turns. He gets Gideon as well.
Tragic Slip.
He's activating Gideon. He's going, all right, he's going for the kill this turn.
Activates an Ink Moth, blocking the Consecrated Sphinx.
Right. I'm expecting to see a removal spell out of Beaux at this point. But
Pumps it up. Snappy what? Snappy Slip? Snappy Slip.
Now, why does he wait until he blocks to do that?
There is no reason, given that he has full knowledge of the opponent's deck list, there's no reason to do it other than misremembering what's in the opponent's deck.
Okay, so he's going to be a turn late on the kill, but that should be all the same, really.
And draws 2.
Yep. We got a Titan.
Primeval, and it doesn't matter, I don't think.
No, the Sphinx will still fly over for 4. But he wants to wait and make sure his opponent actually does it.
There is 1 Inky that David Myers has back, I believe.
Yeah, there's an Ink Moth that's held back to block.
There's 2 more.
2 more, so okay. So it might take a few more turns after that play, not just the 1 turn, but...
Well, actually, look, there's a Snapcaster as well that can do the kill.
Oh, okay, so there's 3 attackers.
There's 3 attackers, each of
blockers.
which can kill him.
All right.
No cards in David Myers' hand.
Yep, so a full-out swing should be lethal here.
And a Liliana for the Rubbins.
Tells him to sacrifice a creature. David Myers correctly sees the play.
I do not know what was cast.
Plays something for 3. Something
Tragic Slip. This
all
is
right,
the real
all right.
Rubbins. Okay.
All right, look at all these cards Consecrated Sphinx drew me. I just
got
want to
you.
cast them all. All right.
Okay. So before we begin to talk more about what's going to happen from the sideboarding, first what we're going to do is we're going to remind everybody about the giveaway that happens every time that we're in the top 8.
Yeah.
Top 8 of the Star City Games Live Open Series. Well, first of all, I'm Adrian Sullivan.
I'm Matthias Hunt.
And what you want to do with this is you want to actually tweet the answer to a trivia question we have to hashtag SCG Premium. And so,
all right,
right down there, SCG Premium. And what happens is, for this first round of the top 8,
okay,
1 person who gets the answer to this trivia question correct will be chosen at random, and they will be receiving 3 free months of Star City Games Premium.
Sounds like a great deal.
It is a good deal. I mean, because you can get it for free. That's good times.
Yeah.
Jacob Van Lunen likes to call this a trimester.
Okay.
So, in any case, remember, you need to hashtag SCG Premium in order to be eligible for the prize. And in this case, the trivia question I'm going to be asking everyone is very simple. There is only 1 copy of this particular archetype in the top 8. Matthias and I both said we thought this deck was going to win the tournament. What 2-color archetype are we talking about that Matthias and I think is going to win this tournament?
All right.
What 2-color archetype have Matthias and I predicted to win this tournament?
Right.
Tweet your answers to hashtag SCG Premium.
Probably one of the more exciting decks in the top 8, based on the fact that it is not the color combination you would usually expect.
It's true. And for a little hint to all of you people out there that have been loving watching Star City games live for a long time, this is a deck that perhaps Matt Landstrom might like to pick up if his friends could convince him to drive from, you know, his home in Memphis to somewhere else to play some Magic.
Right.
Going back now to our match underway,
Sure.
the sideboarding that we were talking about before, for David Myers, I'm thinking that if I were Myers, I would bring in 1 Acidic Slime, I'd bring in 2 Garruk Primal Hunters, I'd bring in 2 Beast Withins, I'd bring in 2 Autumn's Veils, and 2 Karn Liberated. That's 9 cards, but I think you got the room for it.
All right. So let's look at things I don't really want in this matchup. I don't want any of these 4 Slag Storms. So I think all 4 of them leave.
No Whip Flares.
No Whip Flare, so that's down. That's at 5 cards I'm cutting.
Now we only have to find 4 more cards.
I'm not 2 Inferno Titans. I already have a bunch of other things to ramp into that I'd much prefer to ramp into Inferno Titan. I now have Garooks and Karns. I would cut the Inferno Titans.
You know what I would cut? I would go the other way entirely. I would cut the Galvanic Blasts.
Okay. Oh, I did not. You're right. I didn't see the Galvanic Blasts. I would probably say Galvanic Blast is probably a preferred card to cut.
And then I think that's my board, and I think that's a really very powerful thing to do. Karn
loading up on threats, no removal, just all threats and ramp.
And the thing about a card like Karn Liberated is one of the few cards that you can drop on the table, and it can just make a Consecrated Sphinx cry.
Yes, it's a Titan. It's just another threat, but this one can't be Doombladed. This one has to be countered, really.
On the other side of the table, I think we're going to see Karn Liberated come in for Beaux Bruggman. I think we're going to also see Volition Reigns come in for Beaux Bruggman. And perhaps after that, Despise?
Despise would be okay.
Despise seems like it's pretty okay.
He has 3 Lingering Souls in his main deck that really don't do much here, so he's going to want to find at least room to cut those. So I would say that, but you know, I want to cut all 3 of those, and I'm not really excited about Sorin, Lord of Innistrad in this matchup either.
I agree with that. I've got a question for you, though.
Sure.
Let's pretend you presume that Whip Flare and Slagstorm are being dropped out.
Right.
Do you bring in Geists of St. Traft?
No. I still don't bring in Geist of St. Traft. Geist of St. Traft still can't wrangle with the Titan, and you have to expect that your opponent's still bringing in more threats. You don't have a way to push the Geist through. It's cute, but I think your original game plan of being the reactive deck is probably still the stronger role.
Okay, what else do we want to cut? We cut the Sorin.
Cut 2 Sorins, 3 Lingering Souls.
That's 5 cards, and we're bringing in 3
5
Despise,
cards.
1 Karn, 1 Volition Reigns. That seems like a sideboard.
Sounds great to me. That's how we do both of them.
I like the way you think.
So, David Myers down a game. David Myers was the overall 1 seed coming into this. And he will be on the play then for our next game. So what's interesting in this match, so David at this point, we're presuming his deck is basically just a compilation of a lot of different threats. He has 4 Primeval Titan, 4 Hunt Master of the Fells, probably 2 or 3 Acidic Slime, 3 Slum Simulacrum, 2 Inferno Titan, 2 Karn, 2 Garruk Primal Hunter. Of those, I would almost want to argue that the Planeswalkers seem to be the most relevant parts.
Absolutely. One of the things about a Planeswalker coming down is that Beaux actually can't deal with it other than attacking it.
He has 1 Oblivion Ring.
1 Oblivion Ring and 1 Super Oblivion Ring named Karn. And he costs a lot of mana.
And he only has 4 mana leaks. So with only 6 cards to positively interact with those cards I think are some of the best things that David Myers can be casting right now.
And this just in, a reversal of our round 7 matchup. Wolfron Ramp takes down Black-Red Zombies.
So both of our predictions for the winner going down in the first match of the top 8. So we have, your first person, Jason Black, who's now into our top 4, will be playing tomorrow morning. David Myers coming out with a turn 2 Birds of Paradise. It's not your favorite Rampant Growth, but still a Rampant Growth. And
pass.
Beaux doing the blue thing.
Are we going to see a 2/4/6?
Doesn't look
Looks
like it.
No. Think Twice from Beaux. Think Twice actually good in this matchup.
Yes. Beaux essentially is just trying to do a very classic control deck of playing removal spells and card draw. Beaux with the Lingering Souls, so throwing spells, Beaux keeping them in.
Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
As we say the same words. Acidic Slime? Green Suns for 4?
And that
Garruk, Primal
one of the
Hunter.
Things for Beaux has to hope that he has the one O-ring in his hand.
O-ring or no thing. Oh boy.
Yeah, he needs to be careful because that card can single-handedly beat him. If he doesn't have a Despise, he has to at least represent the Mana Leak, even if he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
If he leaves up 2 mana, David likely does not run the Garruk into it. Or possibly doesn't. The Lingering Souls, so...
Whoa, it's an Earthquake.
Our hope would be
mind.
here that Beaux also not having the black mana there and unable to flashback Lingering Souls, so he's not going to be able to really race with Garruk in a very good way.
In for 3 from the Beast that Garruk brings out.
Right.
We're going to see another Beast in a moment.
Yeah, probably, yeah, another Beast. He can't really do any of its other modes, so we will certainly see another Beast. And Beaux debating how much he wants to commit into this board, or not Beaux, sorry, David at this point I think has to think about how much he wants to commit to the board. A certain part of me would say that at this point you would want to, Beaux needs to prove to you that he can answer the Garruk before you really start throwing your other threats out here.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing I'd want to put out there would be Solemn Simulacrum, honestly.
Right, so he's choosing to play a Huntmaster. And it resolves. So...
I think that Beaux might just have a Day of Judgment here.
That would be excellent.
But the thing is if he does that, right, he attacks the Garruk down to 1, does the Day of Judgment, and then there's still a Garruk hanging out.
And here's where him not having the black mana really is hurting him. The black mana would make a Day of Judgment a stabilizing play right now, so because he would have had 4 spirits this turn. Still, though, I mean, he'll still make the play if he has the Day of Judgment.
There's the black mana, a second too late.
Right. The black mana will still come in handy if he has a day, he can play it, and then a turn late makes more spirits.
Another thing we could see happen here, if he has a Sorin still, he could have dropped a Sorin +1. Okay, Gideon, attack by Gideon.
Gideon's going to take a lot of...
This is actually a really good setup. This is something that's happened to me many times in the past playing blue-white control. You lay the Gideon, make them attack your Gideon, and then subsequently, and it's not going to happen...
Gideon turns into a beast.
Oh, never mind. What I was going to say is afterwards, you cast Day of Judgment and then make your Gideon into a 6/6 to finish off their Planeswalker.
Right.
But that's not going to happen this time because Beast Within.
And this looks like almost unrecoverable for Beaux at this point. There are... Yeah, none of the finishers from Beaux are really going to be able to compete with what's going on this other side of the board.
Even that Sphere of the Suns is so dangerous right now just because it represents the access to 6 mana next turn.
Right.
Another Beast.
6 mana is scary. To be honest, I mean, what's on the board is probably enough to win.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. I'm just talking about another stage further.
Thanks for that. It's Beaux Conley. He has a Doomblade, which is a little late.
In on Garruk. Go down to 2, Mr. Garruk.
All right.
Flashback the Lingering Souls. Doomblade on the Huntmaster. That's not unreasonable. And then, what else you got? Nothing. 8 power on the table.
And casting Wolf Run. Yes, that is a Wolf Run. That's.
What do you pump up here? I pump up the birds.
There's no. Garruk's only at 2. Okay. If Garruk was at 4, you'd have to play of Wolf running a Beast and then drawing 9 cards. Or 8.
Yeah,
not
Garruk's
9
a little
cards.
small
6,
for it.
7 cards.
In for 8. Follow with the Inferno Titan. That seems like not necessary.
That seems very greedy. The only way you're losing here is to Day of Judgment. You don't need to be playing more things, but you'll get away with doing it, I think.
You are opening up a potential path, though.
Yes. You'd much rather have that as a follow-up play.
I mean, for example, there could be a attack for 2 on the Garruk, lay Day of Judgment, and then land flashback tokens, and maybe be able to, if David is out of gas, be able to take it over. No. But nope, there is no out of gas. Game 3.
I really think, and when we were saying before about how Planeswalkers are David's most potent threats here, I mean, if you look at that game, I really think the turning point was on turn 4 when David just was able to resolve a Garruk Primal Hunter.
Yeah, and what happened? His opponent cast Lingering Souls on turn 3. He goes, my turn 4. I've got a token as well.
Possibly if Beaux has the black mana up there for the very next turn, he can use the Lingering Souls. And I guess I do like them a little bit in that sense, that if you have it with the black mana, it is actually an answer to your opponent's Planeswalker. So, you know, you're asking about what can answer Karn, and a Lingering Souls can. But that said, I still think there are other answers that we like. There's other things that you'd like to do. Just have more reactive spells.
And we're going to get our runner to let us know if there are any other matches that are done in the top 8. Like we said before, where there was an upset, Jason, well, not an upset, a reversal of a previous match. Our round 7 match, Wolf Run Ramp versus Black Red Zombies. Wolf Run Ramp winning 2-0 very handily. And now we're in a game 3, Beaux Bruggman with Esper Control versus Wolf Run Ramp. Can Wolf Run Ramp make it a sweep here for this round?
We could, definitely.
What aren't we seeing in this top 8? Before we had predictions. 1 second, actually. Okay. Before we had predictions, Matthias and I both agreed we were going to see 2 zombies lists in the top 8. Only one zombie list made it. We had a disagreement. I thought there was going to be 2 wolf runs. Matthias was like, sorry, Matthias was 1 wolf run, and it was 2.
All right.
Black-blue based controls. We both agreed that they're going to be 2.
There's 2 Esper controls.
There are 2. Then
here's
Delver. You thought 2. I thought 1. There are 0. None. Green aggro, I had none, you had 1. There is 1. I had 1 mono red, there is none. And then Freets and black-white tokens round out our top 8. Neither of us predicting that. So it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5. What do you have? You've got 1, I have 2, 3, 4, 5. Tie.
It's a tie. All right.
Oh, okay. 5 for 8. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
actually pretty good. Do you do March Madness?
That's a low D, though, if you're talking about it. You know.
Do you do March Madness?
I do. Missouri losing was a terrible, terrible thing for my bracket.
I am not losing at all because I never play.
Oh. All right.
So what's the answer to your question?
So we've got right on the left, Beaux Bruggman. On our right, David Myers. For those of you who are just joining us, this is the quarterfinals of the Star City Games Live Open Series here in Sacramento. I'm Adrian Sullivan. I'm joined in the booth by Matthias Hunt. And we both predicted a split decision on this. Well, pardon me. We predicted together a split decision on this. I was predicting that David Myers was going to win this one, and you predicted that Esper Control in the hands of Beaux Bruggman was going to win this one. We have another a game result from our top 8. Apparently, Will Chan has won game 1 against Ricky Sidher.
So another Esper Control deck. So if he wins, we will see another Wolf Run Ramp versus Esper Control in the top 4. This time on the other side of the bracket. These decks both looking, both 2 very powerful decks in the format, really. So that leaves the only match we haven't talked about is the black-white tokens versus Frights matchup.
And we both feel pretty confident with the Frights.
Frights is probably a strong favorite in that matchup.
70-30?
That sounds something like that.
Yeah.
But if the tokens deck does manage to win, it would have a very favorable matchup with Esper decks. And
oh yeah.
If Esper manages to come through this. What the Frights deck would love to see happen is a bunch of Wolf Run decks win. Frights would really prefer that the Esper decks do not win. And we also know that the Black-White Tokens deck has taken game 1 over Frights.
Back to our game at hand, Despise on turn 1. Look at those Huntmasters.
Huntmaster, Primeval Titan, plenty of good options.
Green Sun Zenith, is that?
And a Green Sun Zenith.
Are you English? Just checking.
Zenith? Well, it's possible.
I take the Primeval Titan.
I might just take the Primeval Titan. It really depends what kind of removals in his hand.
Depends on his hand, but I like the Primeval Titan without knowing anything else.
It's whichever one you removal in your hand doesn't pair up well against. Is it the second Huntmaster or the Primeval Titan? You just kind of have to play it out a bit. But that hand, I think, overall, is not very threatening. As a control player, I'm very glad to see that hand out of my opponent.
Yeah, that's a not particularly exciting hand. The Green Sun Zenith is used as a fragile rampant growth.
Right.
That's not particularly scary.
Especially because since the best answer to Huntmaster of the Fells is a Day of Judgment. See, how nice would it be if Beaux plays land go, David Myers goes turn 3 Huntmaster of the Fells, Beaux goes turn 4 Day of Judgment. Like
Then it's just like
Day of Judgment,
such,
Stone Rain.
such a monster of a play in that moment.
Right. So especially if he has the Day of Judgment, he must be really happy with how this is progressing. He played Think Twice on the end of his turn. Snapcaster Despise going again. This excellent. Saw the Inferno Titan that he drew. 2 Titans.
Whip Flare.
Whip Flare still in the deck.
Well, I mean, he saw the Lingering Souls. Maybe he thought it would be relevant.
But the thing problem with Whip Flare is that it doesn't really deal with Lingering Souls. Taking the Wolf, the Huntmaster of the Fells, probably means that Beaux does not have certainly means that Beaux does not have the Day of Judgment.
1, 2, 3.
Worth noting,
Inky, in for 1.
if
Poison.
if Beaux kills the Birds of Paradise, David's mana base is very shaky right here. I still think it's the wrong play. And now, of course, Beaux does draw the Day of Judgment, so perhaps he's wishing, oh man, if I, Drowned Catacombs into play untapped. He has a swamp. But this
says go.
It says go. Yeah, probably.
I have not had a chance to see Beau's hand. Sphere of the Suns from David Myers. Have you had a chance to see
it?
It
has a
hand
Day
at
of Judgment in it, which he just drew.
Anything besides the day?
I don't know anything else about it. It has another card in it now that he's flashing back Think Twice.
Beaux wants a land here. There it is. I see at least 1 land.
Oh, he just wants to keep it just to continue making land drops.
Despise number 3 or number 2. The other one was flashed back. We got Whip Flare
and Beast Within,
and 2 Titans. I'd kill the Primeval Titan.
Green Titan, yeah.
Green Titan is a good one to get rid of. The card advantage that comes inherent with it is a big deal.
And he agrees.
Are we going to see a Snapcaster?
Oh, we're going to see a tragic slip.
He's like, your hand is kind of missing out on the mana.
It's possible that Beaux doesn't actually have counter spells right now. If he's still digging for counter, that's what I read into that tragic slip play, actually. They're saying, oh, I really prefer... Simulacrum is very nice here.
Well, honestly, I know that some control players disagree with this. I sideboard out every mana leak I can against ramp decks.
When it's the only kind of counter spells I have in my deck, I don't think you have that luxury. I would much prefer Dissipates in the matchup.
I think he considers his Despises as a pseudo counterspell.
That's fair. But if you're trying to go in a late game where you have to beat someone who's in top deck mode, Despise doesn't really fulfill that role.
No, it does not at all. In fact, it becomes a dead card in the late game.
Right. So, another land 6 off from Beaux. Remember that things like Consecrated Sphinx...
I do not like the attack there with the Snapcaster. We follow up with the Curse of Death's Hold. That's a good card. Pointing it towards his opponent so that they can read it. Very kind of you, Beaux. I identify with that.
And Inferno Titan.
Boom, take 3.
Which, I mean, really, Beaux almost certainly has to have an answer.
I expect he has a removal, or even a Volition Reigns.
He has Day of Judgment and Gideon Jura in his hand, I've managed to see. So, and he drew Consecrated Sphinx. I actually, despite the fact that right now he knows that there's a Beast Within in David Myers' hand, so he's going to hold back on it, but he probably will want to wait to play the Consecrated Sphinx. Well, there's no really reason to wait. Beaux Beast Within's an instant and will probably get the Consecrated Sphinx. So, very nice draw for David Myers there.
Boom. And now imagine if you had that mana leak available.
Now, fortunately, Beast Within, the Curse of Death's Hold, stops this play from being backbreaking.
It's not backbreaking, it's just a nice punch straight across the jaw.
Right. Well, I mean, for example, getting a Wolf Run and another Inkmoth Nexus would be a lot of game for David if the Curse of Death's Hold was not in play right now. As it is, really, he has to deal with the Trampler for the most part, and then counter any acidic slimes that might show up.
Counter any creature that has power greater than 1, or a toughness greater than 1.
Right, but he doesn't have. But now at least these creatures aren't lands. There aren't 3 of them in play.
Yeah. Agreed. Now remember though, that curse, and there's the Go for the Throat. Or is that that's a Go for the Throat.
Yep.
That curse can be destroyed
by Beast Within.
By Beast Within, by Acidic Slime, by Green Sun Zeal for Acidic Slime.
And he has another card. He's going to Beast Within the Curse of Death's Hold. That play is going to not be as neat as he wants it to be, as now he's going to have to face down the Consecrated Sphinx and a Gideon Jura.
And here we're going to see 2 more poison going for Beaux. And now we're going to see the Consecrated Sphinx from Beaux.
Yes. Or Gideon Jura.
Or actually, that's pretty solid given the fact that a Inkmoth could just potentially do what? We got 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2. plus
The,
one.
the
it would
sphere's
actually,
done. The sphere's not a land
Oh, the
anymore.
sphere's empty?
Sphere's
So
empty.
it would actually be, he could knock Beaux up to 8 poison, I believe, if I got the math right. 1 second. Gideon, of course, does not allow that.
Right, so there's the 3 for the wolf run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can only run it for, make it a 7-1, which is very conveniently not enough to kill Gideon Jura.
Only 1 card left in hand.
It's Whip Flare.
And we know this from the previous Despises.
So he actually can only run it for 6. I missed the activation mana. So yes, Gideon will go down to 2.
Yeah.
So Beaux, playing Consecrated Sphinx, the top of his deck is going to be pretty important here, but I still think I like Beaux in this situation.
Beaux is in great shape right now.
Yeah, I drew Mana Leak. Not particularly relevant right now.
Attack me, says Gideon.
Yep.
I'm here. Kill me.
And David will oblige Gideon Jura and probably kill him this turn. Gideon's a very, very loyal planeswalker. You pay him mana and he'll come down and just let things hit him the
I mean,
whole time. It's very
honestly,
nice.
it is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, old school Arnold, not Governor Arnold. I know we're in California, but still.
Well,
What do you want if you're David right now? I think you want a Karn.
Karn would be excellent right now. Well, actually, what would Karn get rid of?
I would have Karn get rid of the Consecrated Sphinx.
Gideon will then attack Karn and kill him and knock him
That's
down.
fine.
Then
Get the Sphinx out of there.
And then he gets the ability to attack back for lethal with Wolfram. So that would be excellent. Karn
Yeah.
would be a very nice draw. But he does not have it, and soon, because of Mana Leak, he's not going to have a chance to. Really
I think he can actually do 10 mana there. He can go Karn through Mana Leak.
Mana Leak becoming a dead card here, I suppose. And Consecrated Sphinx can't really attack because an Income Off Nexus on the block will be able to kill it. Depends on Beau's hand.
Yeah, Beaux just is gonna try to bury David under cards.
And David, what do you think he is or is not going to do? He did not go for the play for killing Consecrated Sphinx? No, it looks like he did not.
Liliana, wow. And now with Consecrated Sphinx to fuel it, Liliana's ability is actually really relevant. There's a dead Whip Flare for David Myers, but not every card's going to be dead. Oh, Beast Within on the Gideon. Oh, is that it? Beaux could have removal in his hand.
He's going to have to.
You just go all in. If I'm David Myers,
This is
I
your
just
last
go
chance.
all in. There's no other options. You just show me the
All right,
removal
let's see the
spell.
removal spell.
Boom, you got it?
And he does. He's tragic slipped.
Oh, and that is the match in dramatic fashion.
Bruggman takes down.